A Fox News alert. So a well-respected FBI director and former federal prosecutor, James Comey, says his department will recommend no charges be filed against Hillary Clinton for her use of a personal server and the information that crossed it during her time as Secretary of State. Doubtless, the Clinton campaign is breathing a sigh of relief, but is the issue over? Let's talk the politics of all this now with Doug Schoen, former advisor to President Bill Clinton and a Fox News contributor. Brad Blakeman, former deputy assistant to President George W. Bush. Doug, to you first.
Sure.
Does this end it?
Well, it doesn't end it until the Attorney General makes a final determination. Legally, politically, there was a lot of language that Donald Trump can and arguably will use going beyond his tweets just sent. But let's get to the bottom line of the politics of it. A huge, huge victory for the Secretary of State. Obviously, this was a close call for the FBI. Obviously, there's language that can and will be used against her. But for her base among Democrats and Democrat-leaning independents, John, it's impossible to call this anything other than the biggest event of the year, including beating Bernie Sanders in the primaries.
Some quotes, Brad, from the FBI director's statements. There is evidence they, meaning Hillary and her staff, were extremely careless in their handling of classified info. There is evidence that any reasonable person in Clinton's position should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that information. Pretty damning words for the person who wants to be the next president of the United States.
There's no doubt about it. This may be a victory for Hillary Clinton, but it's a defeat for American justice. One thing is for sure, John, while Hillary may never be tried in a court of law, she is going to be tried in the court of public opinion, and it's going to be up to Donald Trump to be the prosecutor. The American people are going to be the jury. The electorate is going to determine whether or not Hillary Clinton is capable of being the President of the United States in view of her recklessness with regard to the handling and dissemination of the most sensitive American secrets. Anybody else but Hillary Clinton would have been indicted. There's no question about it. Because she's Hillary Clinton, she got a pass. The question is, will the American people give her one too?
Yeah, Doug, you've heard it said time and time again that people feel like there is one set of rules for the Clintons and another set of rules for everybody else. This doesn't dispel that notion necessarily.
No, I don't think so. There was one question that both Greg Jarrett and Catherine Harris raised that I think the FBI director has to address in some form. What is the difference between extremely careless and gross negligence, which is what the statute talks about, because the two can and have been used interchangeably. That being said, I think in the politics of it, those that don't trust the secretary, the 50-odd% who take that view, will have that view buttressed, and those that have seen the email scandal as much ado about nothing will come away emboldened today. Yeah. So I think, as I said, a big, big win for the secretary.
I think I agree with Doug's analysis, Brad, especially because, 5 months from now, when people go to the voting booth, aren't a lot of them going to be saying, oh, well, that email thing that was investigated by the highest levels of the FBI, and they gave her a pass.
Well, I happen to believe, and I agree with Doug, that those people who believe that Hillary should be indicted will still believe that. The question is, Hillary has a deficit of trust and likability. That is deep, and it even bleeds over significantly into her own party and her own base. You've seen that with the emergence of Bernie. So whether she's going to be able to fully recover remains to be seen, but certainly her base is going to see this as a huge victory, no doubt about it.
She is speaking right now, as we mentioned earlier. She might not even know exactly what the FBI director had to say, because it's my understanding she took to the microphones before he did, but we will perhaps be getting some reaction from the candidate herself later on today. Brad Blakeman, Doug Schoen, gentlemen, thank you both.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Saying that